Are you curious what's actually happening this August in our local South Jersey Shore real estate market? I'm going to tell you right now. I'm Adam D with the Local Connect and KW Realty, and I'm going to tell you boots on the ground what we're actually seeing in today's real estate market. It's August 2022. So here's a quick rundown of what I'm actually seeing in the real estate market today. A little bit similar to last month, but we've seen things slow down just a little bit. In fact, the number of transactions right now is far lower than last year. However, that doesn't mean that it's shifted to a buyer's market. It's still very much a seller's market, just not an extreme seller's market. So yes, the number of transactions is lower this year. It looks as, at the end of the year, we're going to have fewer transactions this year than we had the past 2 years. But don't forget, that was an extreme market. We're probably going to end up pretty close to where we were in a normal market in 17, 18, and 19. And this is for the entire United States, but we are seeing the same conditions locally here. We're still seeing multiple offers on a lot of properties though. If the property's priced correctly, we're still going to see a couple offers usually within the first 1 to 2 weeks on the market. So we're still seeing a lot of headlines in the news about interest rates going up. Now I don't know yet if we've seen the peak or the highest of the interest rates. That remains to be seen, but they've actually started to trend back down than the peak that we saw a month or so ago. So talking about recessions, you may have seen online or headlines that we've had 2 quarters of a downturn and we're in a recession. I'm not here to argue whether we are or are not in a recession, but we have not seen any recession-like conditions in the real estate market. Prices haven't declined, although they have cooled off, and we're still seeing a lot of competition. And I think we're going to see that through the rest of the year. You hear me talk about this all the time, but we still have low inventory levels. It's still a seller's market because there is very low inventory. A neutral market is typically between 5 and 6 months of inventory or so. We're still about half of that, and we're nowhere near the conditions that we saw in 2008 and the market crash that followed thereafter. So for this to shift into a buyer's market, we're going to have to see a very high influx of listings coming onto the market. And I think there are going to be more listings coming on the market, but nowhere near the amount that would be needed for this to shift from a seller's to a buyer's market. So overall, still a seller's market. We're still seeing multiple offers, just not as many as we saw previously. So you can see this is showing you that in April, every listing was getting 5+ offers on average. And so now we're getting multiple offers, but just fewer, right? And in April, there was more properties that were getting over asking price. Still very common today, but not every property any longer. And again, the supply or the number of properties available for sale is increasing, just not rapidly increasing. So I think that trend may continue a little bit where we have more of a neutral market. It's no longer an extreme seller's market, but I don't think it's also going to shift all the way the other way where it's an extreme buyer's market either. So there you have it. That's what we're actually seeing, boots on the ground in the South Jersey Shore real estate market. I'm Adam D with KW Realty and the Local Connect. If you like the content you saw today, please make sure to subscribe to my channel so you're alerted the next time we put a video out.